Honorable Minister of Education, Priyamani Chand, Deputy Chief Education Officers, Assistant Chief Education Officers, REDOs, Directors of the various units within the Ministry of Education, Senior Education Officers, head teachers, pupils, students, children, staff within the ministry, special invitees, members of the media, all welcome to the Ministry of Education's Arrival Day Village 2025. We are honored to have you here with us to celebrate the sixth, and some people say seven because of the mixed race that we have here within our beautiful 592. We are excited to showcase all of the different presentations.
Honorable Minister of Education, Priyamani Chand, DCOs, ACOs, senior officers of the Ministry of Education, students, parents, guardians, media representatives, a pleasant good morning to one and all. Indeed, it's a great pleasure to be here this morning at this very historic event. And as we can see backstage in front of you, Ministry of Education Arrival Day Village, an event that was well organized, planned and executed under the auspices of the Ministry of Education. And I want for us to understand it's the first time historic event that is birthed by the Honorable Minister of Education, and as I said, well executed by a team of officers of the Ministry of Education. And so I ask that we put our hands together and we give a resounding round of applause to all the persons who played a significant role in realizing this very historic moment, this very historic activity as we celebrate Arrival Day here at the Ministry of Education. And so Arrival Day is observed on May 5th every year. It is a day that we celebrate the diverse culture of all the people that came or were brought to our land. Each group of ancestors made considerable contributions to our nation's development. History tells us that our ancestors came in search of food and warmer weather, or as colonizers. Some were brought forcibly to work in the sugar plantations as slaves, while others came to work in the plantations as indentured laborers. Early in our primary school's curriculum, we learn about the different ethnic groups. We learn about where they came from and the reason they came or were brought. We learn about many contributions they made to the Guyanese society. This Arrival Day activity brings the curriculum, the Ministry of Education curriculum to life. It will provide our children from grades 4, 5, 6, and 7 and the inquisitive observer with the opportunity to interact with the materials and to experience what was like for our ancestors. I ask that as you journey through the village, and you will get an opportunity over the next 2 days to experience, to explore, and to engage what we are all talking about. You will be taking a step back into time. You will experience how our ancestors lived, and you will see firsthand how they contributed to our societies and by extension, our country's development. For our grade 5 learners, this experience will cover a whole unit in the grade 4 and grade 5 curriculum. The knowledge gained from this experience will greatly boost your preparedness for the grade 5 National Annual Assessment and the National Grade 6 Assessment. Our learners are encouraged to ask as much questions as possible and to take away the rich, thick, descriptive experience. And in so doing, they will appreciate that Guyana was not built by one particular ethnic group, but rather all the people that make up our beautiful land, one Guyana. And so on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Education and the Ministry of Education, I want to express warmest welcome to all of us to this very historic event. And I ask that you engage, explore, and experience the rich cultural heritage in the next 2 days. And I ask that as you go back to your respective schools, your respective villages, your respective regions, let's recognize how important these contributions are to us as Guyanese. An introduction of our ethnic representation, and of course, this representation will give us a better understanding as to all that we will be witnessing here today and tomorrow. And so it gives me great pleasure at this point in time to recognize our students who are participating here today at this event. And so I'll call on stage representatives from the Bishop's High School, and they will be depicting our Amerindian cultural, rich, diverse cultural background. So can we put our hands together as we welcome the Bishop's High School as they present to us the Amerindian cultural heritage.
I am a Guyanese of Amerindian descent. From the frozen landscapes of Mongolia to the lush jungles of Guyana, my ancestors embarked on an epic journey that would shape the very fabric of our beloved homeland. The adventurous Amerindians journeyed from Mongolia across the icy Bering Strait, chasing warmer lands and food. They eventually settled throughout the Americas and in today's Guyana. They established vibrant villages like Aishalton and Santa Rosa, leaving an incredible cultural legacy. Delicious cassava bread and pepper pot, dazzling TV series skirts and beaded jewelry, spirited dances like the Mari Mari, and rhythmic music with flutes and drums, fierce hunters with bows, spears, and blowpipes. They also gifted Guyana with unforgettable words like Kaichur, Old Man's Falls, and Mashumani, celebration after hard work. Politically, trailblazers like Stephen Campbell and Pauline Campbell Sakai paved the way, making Amerindian influence a lasting and dynamic force in Guyanese life. Their incredible journey continues to echo through the heart of Guyana today. With fearless hearts and timeless traditions, the Amerindians blaze a trail across the Americas, weaving their deep spirits into the soul of Guyana. Thank you. I'm a Guyanese of European descent, fueled by the dazzling legend of El Dorado. My fearless ancestor set sail across the treacherous seas and stormy skies to reach the shores of Guyana.
Where's the mic up? Where's the mic up?
Forever reshaping its history. The Spanish were the first to reach these shores, but moved on past. They were followed by the Dutch, who
Where's the mic
built
up?
thriving colonies like Essequibo, Demerara, and Berbice. The French swept in briefly in 1782, only to be overtaken by the English in 1796. With them came tantalizing foods like pies and pastries, an elegant waltz, lively accordion tunes, and fine ceramic that enriched the local culture. Under their rule, Guyana journeyed from a colony to independence in 1966 and eventually a proud republic in 1970. Their legacy still echoes today in names and places such as Georgetown, Versailles, Iceland, and the fabled El Dorado, weaving their hearts into Guyana's vibrant story. Driven by the dreams of gold and glory, the Europeans sailed their way into Guyana, leaving a bold imprint on its land, culture, and history.
I am a Guyanese of African descent. In the early 1600s, my ancestors were brought from the shores of West Africa, from places we now know as Senegal, Angola, and Ghana, and thrust into the nightmare of the Middle Passages. On these voyages, they endured over crowded slave ships and unimaginable suffering. Yet, from this darkness grows extraordinary resilience. Survivors carved out thriving communities in Buxton, Victoria, and Betobrowatic, transforming Guyana with flavorful dishes like okra rice and metaji. The thunder of drums, the flare of kumfa, and masquerade dances, and exquisite beadwork and pottery added to the rich tapestry of my ancestral culture. Out of their struggles emerged leaders like Kofi and Forbes Burnham, who fought for freedom from slavery and colonialism, for unity and justice. From the depths of unimaginable hardship, my ancestors rose with unbreakable spirit, transforming their pain into power and leaving a vibrant legacy that still beats at the heart of Guyana today, shaping the fierce and proud spirit of Guyanese that still burns bright in our beloved land. I am a Guyanese of Portuguese descent. On May 3rd, 1834, the first of my ancestors disembarked from the ship Louise Bailey and set foot in this country for the first time. They came all the way from the impoverished Portuguese-owned island of Madeira to work on the sugar plantations as indentured laborers. After indentureship, while some returned, many chose to stay. They helped to shape this beautiful nation of ours. Their prints are still very much evident today, from the mouth-watering stewed beef, red bean soup, and pancakes to the garlic pork we enjoy at Christmas. Stringed instruments like the rags and ragga echo through the halls of our rich culture. My ancestors were staunch Christians. We owe the construction of the first Sacred Heart Catholic Church to them. So establishing they were that we still see their legacy in our business community. The likes of the Fernandez, Correas, Iguars, Santos, Fogartys, and Bookers are names etched in our history. Thank you.
I am a Guyanese of the East Indian descent. The Whitby and Hesperus docked on our shores on May 5th, 1838, as my ancestors set foot on this beautiful land for the first time. My ancestors were a batch of indentured laborers who came to work on the sugar plantations. They wasted no time on getting to work on plantation Highbury in Berbice. Other East Indian groups worked on plantations as well. From Anna Regina in Essequibo to Cane Grove and Bellevue in Demerara, and Bushlot and Blackbush Polar in Berbice. My ancestors have left a lasting impression on our culture and the way of life. The scrumptious dal puri and chicken curry are food found in every Guyanese home. Kathak and Nagara are dances brought to our shores. We still proudly wear our lehengas, saris, kurtas, shalwars, hoinies, and dhotis, just as we did many, many years ago. From the soothing bhajans and melodious harmonium to the exciting salsa drumming, the East Indian musical art form is embedded in the veins of a true Guyanese. My ancestors joined the fight and for freedom and a better standard of living for all. Dr. Cherry Jagan helped to steer our country through the rough seas of colonialism to a blooming democracy. Currently, Dr. Bara Jagdeo and His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali, Guyanese of the East Indian descent, are steering the country into a modern state. Thank you.
I am a Guyanese of Chinese descent. My forefathers arrived on these shores in January 1853 on board the Glen Tanner, the first of many ships to follow. Dressed in sarongs and tunics, my ancestors were the last group of indentured laborers to work on the sugar plantations. After indentureship, many of them settled in villages such as Blankenberg, Windsor Forest, and other. Chinese cuisines such as fried rice and chow mein are a stark reminder that my ancestors helped to build this nation. On the Chinese New Year, the dragon dance and the lion dance bring our Chinese culture to life. Chinese lanterns, fans, and kites are some of the craft works that are still relevant to our society. My ancestors also left their mark in Guyanese politics. Mr. Arthur Chon was our first president. In fact, he was the first ethnically Chinese person to be elected as the head of state of a non-Asian country. Thank you.
We are Guyanese. We represent the true embodiment of a multicultural and multi-ethnic nation. Through all our differences, one thing is constant. Our ancestors all helped to shape this nation, and we will continue their hard work as one people, one nation, with one destiny. As we work together, we'll have beautiful and free one Guyana.
Can we put our hands together and give them a huge round of applause? Indeed, we have all listened to them very carefully. And indeed, we are all Guyanese. One people, one nation, one destiny. And so I want to recognize the teachers, the parents, the guardians, of course, the officers who would have worked with these students to showcase their rich heritage carefully depicted here this morning to all of us as we celebrate with the Ministry of Education in this Arrival Day village. So I'll now hand you back to our chairperson, Ms. Harris, as she takes us through the program.
We're blessed with good winds today. That was beautifully executed, just to echo the words of Dr. Tulra, a great representation of the 6 different ethnicities that landed on our shores many, many years ago. And if you take a look around you, you can still see them being represented as you sit to enjoy the Ministry of Education's Arrival Day Village 2025. As usual, we here in Guyana, because we're so blended, we love to dance. Every single ethnicity has contributed some form of dance over the centuries that they have been here. And to showcase just how splendid each of them are, we will be having a presentation from Joro's dance group and others to showcase just that. Let us put our hands together for Joro and company.
I will be done. Trouble of the world, trouble of the world, trouble of the world. How sooner will be done. Trouble of the world. I'm going to haunt the leaf with gold. No more weeping and waiting. No more weeping and wailing. No more weeping and wailing. I'm going home to live with my Lord.
Baba deo, oguye kude baba wo.
Baba de oguye kuye baba.
Baba deo, oguye kude baba wo.
Ogun baba de oguye kuye baba.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning,
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
get ready, man, prepare for your freedom.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Get ready, man, prepare for your freedom.
Freedom
Lisboa já tem sol, mas cheira a lua. Quando nasce a madrugada sorrateira e o pinheiro elétrico da rua faz por com as chinelas da ribeira. Se chove, cheira a terra prometida, procissões sem cheiro a rosmaninho. As tascas da viela mais escondida cheira a iscas com elas e alinho. Um craveiro numa água furtada
Cheira bem, cheira a Lisboa.
uma rosa a florir na tapada.
Cheira bem, cheira a Lisboa.
A fragata que chega na proa, a varita que teima em passar. Cheiram bem porque são de Lisboa. Lisboa tem cheiro de flores e de mar.
Cheira bem, cheira a Lisboa. Cheira bem, cheira a Lisboa.
A fragata que chega na proa, a varita que teima em passar. Cheiram bem porque são de Lisboa. Lisboa tem cheiro de flores e de mar.
of you, but those drums did something exciting to me. I'm so happy that the ministry was able to pull this together. This is an amazing program. Just before we get on in our program, a quick announcement. PZZ 2228, could you kindly report to your vehicle? PZZ 2228. So just to let you know who entertained us just a few moments ago, we had Joro, Birdie's Delights, X Factor Dance Group, I Am Dance Group, Drums for Life 592, and Rising Stars Tassa Group, all coordinated by the very talented Natalie Adams. Give them one last round of applause to show them how much we appreciated that. Thank you very much to those involved. Coming to the podium to share her remarks with us on the very first Ministry of Education's Arrival Day Village, let us welcome the helm of the ministry, none other than the remarkable Minister of Education, Priya Manichan. Let us welcome our minister to the podium.
Thank you very much. Good morning. You're coming from all over, and I see you all over. I see the babies over there, and I see you under the tent. Happy Arrival Day. And I'm not going to make a long speech because I want you to see the exhibition. But I want you all to know, whether you're in grade 4, or grade 5, or grade 6, or high school, that our ancestors, the little ones, the old ones, the people who came before us, as you will see when you walk through there, whether they came at the bottom of a slave ship or were brought at the bottom of a slave ship in very, very harsh conditions, where many of them did not make it to shore because they were so cruelly treated, or whether they came on the Hesperus or Whitby or on the Glentana, or whether they were met here when the Europeans came, or whether they were brought to give work when slavery ended. All of them withstood very harsh conditions to get here. And all of them struggled in very harsh conditions to stay here and build a better life for you. And that is what we in the government are committed to doing. Building a better Guyana day by day so that you could thrive here, whether you live in Region 1 or Region 6, whether you are Christian or Hindu or Muslim, whether you are Guyanese of African descent or Amerindian descent or Indian descent, or Chinese descent or Portuguese descent or European descent, or whether you mix up it all. We are here to build a country for all of you. And you have one thing to do only. You have to participate in this building. And as you are young people here, I want to talk to you. It is backward. It is unintelligent. It is a word you know that you use that I am not supposed to use, that begins with D and ends with E. You know what's the word? It has a C somewhere in it. A word they tell me we cannot use in education. It is backward, it is unintelligent, and it is that D word. for you or me or anybody of this age to be bigoted. And I want you to find out what bigot means. To practice bigotry means to look at someone, one of the meanings, to look at someone and treat them differently, treat them poorly, treat them badly because they're of a different religion or different race or differently abled or live in a different place or have less resources like money or a fancy house that you might have. It is unintelligent to behave in that way. And we have the freedom of internet. And all of you have smartphones. Let me see your smartphones in the air with the light on if you have smartphones. Do you have smartphones? And I'm seeing all those lights. So here's the thing. This smartphone gives you a lot of freedom. You have information old people like me could only get if we walked into a library. You could sit in your living room or on your toilet and get that information now. And equally, you can send information easier than any other generation in the history of the world. And recently, I have been seeing on the internet people who are using that tool that is supposed to make you better, more advanced, more evolved, more informed in a way that portrays them and evidences them as proves them to be unintelligent and backward and deep. And you must never fall into that category. Never believe you're anonymous because you are behind a device where people cannot see you. If you can say it online, make sure you can say it in front of all these cameras here, or else treat it as unsayable. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you cannot stand in front of all these cameras and say John or Mary or Sanita or Filippo is a bad word, then don't write it on the internet or else you'll get catch. You understand what I'm saying? You only feel anonymous. This smartphone has also come with the evolution of smartness of humans to be able to track who is saying what. And we must resolve here that we will use these devices only to spread good information, to spread love, to promote unity, to make sure that the people who struggled and came here didn't waste their time by producing offspring and generations of people who are backward. We owe our ancestors who came here, we owe them the duty to look after this country and her people that they made whole so that we could all be better. We owe them that duty. So do not leave. I want you to resolve here that you are not going to be a bigot in any way, shape, or form. In your school or out of your school, in your community or out of your community, online, on social media, whether it be Facebook or Insta or TikTok or whatever else they have. You are not going to be a bigot because you are bright, young Guyanese children aiming to grow up in a land that is full of love and unity and togetherness. A land that thrives where the government is committed to giving each and every one of you equal opportunities regardless of what you look like, regardless of how you pray, regardless of how your parents vote. So this morning it gives me great pleasure to declare the inaugural, the first time ever, the Ministry of Education's Arrival Day Village. This is something you will see over and over again. To all parents, this village is made up of the social studies content required for your children's learning, for them to be successful at various exams, including the NGSA and CXC Social Studies and History. And so I would encourage you to bring your children to this village over the next 2 days. I want to give a special shout out to Patricia Pat from the Ministry of Education, to her team, ably assisted by the people I met yesterday, Miss Grant, Miss Harvey, Candy, and other people who worked to put this together. A special shout out to the Guyana Learning Channel, to EduFM, and to all the media here. So this morning is for you. This morning gives us a great chance to wipe the slate clean and decide that we are not going to be bigots today, tomorrow, or any other day going forward. So today, our Arrival Day Village is officially commissioned. I love you. God bless you. God bless our beautiful nation of Guyana. I thank you.